The whole thing's a touchscreen.
How much is it?
500.
Oh, this was like $699. The touchscreen one is 500.
Yeah.
What's up, Zach Russell? How's it going, man?
Ted Jones, how are you, man?
Podcast, guys. Dude, thanks so much for coming over, man.
Thanks so much for having me.
That's a tricky water bottle, man.
It is tricky.
I'd say that's why it was probably $199.
Yeah.
It was like, these are impossible essentials to open, so we'll just give it to the people who figure out how to open it.
It's like,
dude, yeah, I just
like got a child lock.
I just literally took it off the top. Took the top off the Maybach. So what's up, dude? You and I actually first met in person a week ago now, man.
Is that true?
A week ago.
That might be true.
I saw you. I was like, oh, Zach, because we followed each other on
Instagram.
Instagram.
Met online years ago.
Yes, dude.
Years ago.
Which is hilarious, man. I feel like that's the new comfortable way of meeting somebody before you meet them. You know, it's like people are more comfortable meeting people, I think, on dating apps.
Speaking of more comfortable, let me really nestle into this couch. I need to make a nest here. Get some newspaper clippings and really
Indian
settle in.
Style, whatever you want.
Whoa.
So, guys, Zach has a podcast of his own, hilarious comic, a weekly comedy show, freestyle comedy. Is it weekly?
It's weekly.
Okay, cool, man. And where do you guys do that?
We do it. We actually have 2 weeklies. We have a Friday in Astoria, and then we have a Tuesday in Manhattan at the Bowery Electric.
Nice.
And the Astoria one's in like a barbershop. It's like it's like a speakeasy under a barbershop off the Steinway stop. It's fun. We used to give out pre-rolls, but there's a little infighting with me and the other co-producers about how weed heavy we want to make the show.
Interesting.
It brings people in.
Yeah, do the comics smoke?
No, it's more the audience. It's not like the theme of the show, but it used to be like you get a ticket and then a pre-roll comes with it.
How much weed do you think you were putting in those pre-rolls?
I mean, I wasn't making them. It was a lot. It was a lot. People were getting way too high. And the weed itself is like, because me and like Charles Angle, co-host of my podcast, would split a joint and be pretty fucked up. So we're giving people joints and they're just, taking a full joint to the face. And this weed is like kind of methy. It's like it gets you a little jittery and
PCP in there,
paranoid,
Yeah. Well, that's what the real weed smokers like it like that. But I feel like if you're giving out free joints though to people who maybe don't smoke as much at a comedy show, could seem risky. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Then people who don't smoke almost every single day, I mean, they'll just get super high from that one joint that they've smoked for the month.
I like that you look to the camera as if we're kind of doing a PSA.
Yeah, exactly, man. I'm like, guys, be careful, okay?
Be careful at freestyle comedy.
I'm a big weed smoker though. I will.
I walked in and I got the scent.
The remnants of earlier.
I got the dank scent. Yeah, dude, from earlier. You smoke earlier?
Yeah. The thing is, I don't smoke like 3 hours before the podcast, so you probably caught me like maybe 3.5, 4 hours ago. Not awake and bake, but a little bit before noon. So you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm a big weed guy.
I'm a big weed guy too, but it's taken over. I got it. You got to rein back sometimes. You got to rein it in.
Yeah,
because it
sometimes
it feels like it just limits my brain.
You think so?
I think it does.
Well, I don't. I think I have my like limits that I'll set. I won't do it 3 hours.
See,
before
I don't have
the show.
limits all set.
Yeah, well, I think it's just because I've had experiences where maybe I've smoked right before or I've eaten right before a set, and I'm like, oh my god, that just felt terrible mentally. So I'm like kind of gauging on
regular
when
food?
I can eat and when I can smoke. Yeah. Well, I'm a vegan, bro.
Yeah.
So I, for the most part, like 2 hours before a show, I really will try not to eat.
Otherwise, you're just farting up a storm.
Yeah, man. And and my energy is just focused on breaking down the food. No, I'm not farting, but my energy is just because that's how it usually works. When you're breaking down food,
you guys are like weed whackers. You have so little fuel. You gotta. How many times do you eat a day?
I mean, it depends. Once or twice. Like
Really?
Yeah, man. I'll go like 16, 17 hours without eating usually, just because like I'll feel better also.
Of course. I hate eating.
Yeah, you're not a big eater?
I need to eat. I have a high metabolism, but I need to eat. So, but I don't know. I got a weird relationship with food, and weed is it's all about energy management,
You drink coffee too?
I drink a lot of coffee.
Me too, man. I drink a lot of coffee.
I might go get my thermos right now.
Wait, yeah. Dude, a thermos of coffee?
I don't know. It's a Contigo.
What's that?
You know what it is. You've seen.
Hold up, whip it out, bro. Oh, Contigo is the actual holder.
Yeah, this thing.
Oh, and there's coffee in it.
Yeah.
All right, man. So you keep it.
What do you put in your soup?
What is that? Room
soup?
Room temperature?
No, this is temperature controlled. This is piping hot.
And you've had. Whoa. All right.
It's actually
the
cold.
Hot coffee. Yeah.
It's actually really, really cold.
Love it, man. All right, Zach. So let's start from the beginning, bro.
Let's talk.
Where did you grow up? Where were you born?
I was born in. All right, that's not too bad. The sweat stains.
Sweat stain. You're good.
Yeah, we'll
do still somewhere out there, kind of.
We'll do low contrast.
Into fall.
Yeah. I grew up in Maryland. I had a pretty good childhood. I have a sign in my basement that says "A happy childhood lasts forever."
Love that.
Yeah,
My
parents are pretty good. I put it up.
Okay.
No, they put it up. Yeah, it was good. I mean, I grew up in Annapolis, Maryland, on the water. Big water guy.
Were you thinking about going into the Navy at all, being so close to the base?
No.
Do you have boys?
You see them. You see them running around at 6 a.m.
Yeah,
you're like, this isn't the life I want.
That's awful. It sucked. Just shaved head. But some of your boys from high school, will they go there?
Not my boys. A few boys.
Annapolis High School?
I had boys. No, I went to Severn School, private school.
Okay.
I'm an enemy.
All right.
Yeah, I'm a privileged white elite.
And then you went to college still? And then
I went to college.
Maryland?
I went to college in Boston College.
Boston College. Okay, I went to UConn. I played tennis there. So we played.
Tennis guy.
Yeah, dude, we played BC quite a few times. You guys are pretty good.
Are we?
Yeah, you guys are
That's
solid.
good to know.
But you guys are like the bottom feeders of the ACC.
That's what we are, yeah.
But we were like the top of
we
at
got
the
God on our
time.
side.
It was yeah, dude.
We got Christ.
It was like right around the time when the Big East and ACC, for those of you who are not familiar, the Big East broke up and went their football ways, tennis ways, whatever, basketball ways in general. But we were kind of like closer to the top of the Big East. And the difference between Big East and ACC in tennis is that like ACC, your school, or like for the most part, those schools are down in like the more tropical areas, like in the South, in Georgia, in Florida, places like that where they can play tennis all year round. In Texas,
heard Georgia described as tropical.
Yeah, well, I mean more so than
I know what you mean. Equatorial,
you know what I mean?
You know?
Yes, sure,
yeah,
exactly.
Warm weather, no seasons.
But we were okay, and then BC was just for the most part like at another level, just because they were in a different conference.
What was your best swing? Do you have a good backhand?
My best stroke was the serve. I thought for a moment I was going to go pro. Like when I was 14, 15 years old, living in New York City, I was homeschooled when I was 15.
Yeah.
For a full year to train and play tennis like 2 or 3 hours a day, and then do fitness. And then I went to a specialized high school in the city for sophomore, junior, and senior year.
Tennis high school.
Yeah, man. Well, it's for actors, singers, dancers, models, and athletes.
Tennis.
Yeah. So
you got a racket right there.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, of course. I'm ready to play always.
Nice.
But we would leave, like I would leave on a Thursday, come back on a Monday, and I would have the homework, or maybe I can take the test before I got back.
So you were really on the cusp.
Specialized. Yeah, on the cusp, or I would have liked to think that I was.
Sure.
But I mean,
a lot of people like to think they were on the cusp.
Yeah, bro. And well, also tennis is such a tough sport. Yeah. Like to go pro and really make something of yourself in tennis, you got to start when you're like 3, 4, or 5 years old. Because there are kids who have tennis parents and they're just in the backyard in their public tennis court playing 6 hours a day. When in New York, it's expensive, as you can imagine.
Sure.
You know?
Or you could have chopped off your wiener.
I could have done that. Why would I have done that? Oh, you mean
women's tennis?
Yeah, there you go. I was like, why would I have chopped off my wiener besides to go pro?
Speed.
You know, there was a woman who did that, Renee Richards.
Yeah.
I don't know if she.
There's almost one in every sport now, and I don't. You know, I'm trying to be funny, but there's
swimming,
almost one in every.
Leah Thomas, Brittany Griner.
See, now I think a penis would help in swimming as a stabilization.
Yeah, because it's like a fin.
I swam in high school.
You did? Mm-hmm. My dad was the captain of the NYU swim team. Do you think about being a college swimmer?
No. My times were dog shit. I swam just to like stay in shape. Okay. No, I was like swimming. Like the best time I ever got, I broke 30 seconds in the 50 freestyle, which is like it's not good. Okay. No, people are doing like 24.
Did you look up to Michael Phelps at all, and just like were you in awe about how fast he could swim?
He's from Baltimore. That's an interesting question. I think a lot of people look up to Michael Phelps.
Well, I mean, mainly
because of how much weed he faced.
That's also true.
That's why I looked up to my boy Phelps.
When I think about swimmers or whatever, I don't really have a gauge on if somebody's really fast, but I can imagine if you were at the pool and you saw Michael Phelps swimming.
We did swim against some like legit schools, and there was this guy Giles Smith. He was this black dude who would do like sub 20-second freestyle 50s, which is like 2/3 of my time. You know, it's a crazy, like he was huge. He was like the 6'5" guy gliding through the water.
Did he swim in the Olympics?
I don't know. I never kept up with old Giles Smith.
Yeah, I'm sure he's killing it though, or some type of swimming instruction.
My parents used to play tennis. One of my funniest memories of my parents was my dad was serve, because we had a tennis court right across from my house, and they would my dad serve to my mom, hit her square in the neck. She she got the wind knocked out
She
of her.
was in the hospital?
No.
Man, and
Good
the
clean
wind
fun.
knocked out her like right in the neck. I've gotten like chest or stomach before, but never in the neck. I feel like that's probably
We
the
all
worst
laughed
place.
and laughed, and she coughed and barfed, and it was
So
fun.
why'd you go to BC from Maryland?
Well, I had my two choices really that it would come down to were William and Mary, where my mom went.
Virginia.
Virginia, comfortable.
Good team too. Yeah.
Good team. Yeah, I wasn't really going for the teams. It was more just like not a big sports guy.
You're like, they're a solid tennis team.
Yeah, good
Between
tennis.
Maryland, William and Mary,
Good
and BC.
tennis program.
Yeah, they're solid.
Good ball and racket down there, William and Mary, and then BC. And I picked BC actually because it was in the city, and I was really into. I mean, I still am, but I was really into music then, and like metal, and I really wanted to go to shows, and I'm like, oh, Boston, I'll be able to go to all these shows. And I never ended up going to like any shows. I went to a few when I graduated, but what I did take advantage of was comedy in Boston, and kind of learned that I wanted to do that.
Oh, cool. So once you got to Boston, you wanted to be a performer of some type. And then how did comedy come along?
I realized that, well, I just kind of on a whim performed for this, or auditioned for this sketch and improv comedy group called Asinine. And that was fun. I mean, I only learned later after getting in how kind of improbable it was for me to just get in from auditioning. Because then I was auditioning people as like an upperclassman.
You mean to get into the improv group?
Yeah. Because we auditioned like 100 people, and
Totally.
like 2-3 people got in. And so looking back, it was like, oh my God, I can't believe I passed that, that test. But it was so fun. It was like, I had kind of a tough time in college. I had I developed like an eating disorder freshman year and everything, because I was just having trouble making friends, and not having, I just like, I wasn't, it's hard to make friends, sometimes. I'm an outgoing guy, but early on I was just in like this dorm that I wasn't vibing with the people, and so I started just like focusing on food and stuff. So I got really thin, and but then I met this comedy group that was great, and then I kind of pulled myself out of the.
I did UCB for like 4.5 years. It got really crazy because I was so involved in it, and I loved doing it. And then all of a sudden, March 2020 happened, and then they just closed down. And I was like, shit, I need to get more involved in stand up. And then that's why I started doing the Ted Jones comedy show at Asylum. Did it at the Stand, but like, I was just super into improv. I loved improv, or even watching it. And as you know, I'm sure, good improv, there's really nothing better.
Yeah, that's some of the hardest I've laughed is like,
me too.
Bill Burr, like seeing a few like legendary comics live, hanging out with your friends stupid high, and then like a great improv show. Totally. Those are like the 3 times where I've laughed the hardest.
In going to Boston, though, were you like trying to think about transferring to New York right after you graduated, or were you like, all right, maybe I'll stay in Boston after I graduate?
You kind of want to spread your wings a little bit and see if you can even do it before you start moving. Like, you kind of want to reach some kind of milestones before you move to New York, But it is true that a lot of the people in Boston who get good enough move to. So there's a big talent drain from Boston to New York, But yeah, now I live in Flatbush, which I love. I do live a block from my ex, which is not great, but
Were you guys ever living together?
No, we weren't. But
you guys made the decision though, you're either going to break up or move in with each other?
No, I've realized I'm kind of a relationship guy. I moved here in like a 4.5-year relationship. We lived together. We ended up splitting, a very good person she does improv actually.
From Boston?
From Boston. And then I got into this 10-month horrible thing with someone who's started to do comedy, which is not good. And then now I'm in this open relationship that's been like 6 months going. It's non-monogamous.
What's your favorite part, man? I see you do a lot of sketches. I guess you're talking about improv and then doing stand-up.
My favorite part, you got to do so much. I mean, I love the podcast. I love doing the pod, but I think stand-up's my favorite. Like, you can invest your energy in so much stuff and only so many things. And I was like, should I try to write for late night? Should I try to write a pilot? But like,
it's all related.
It's related, but you can't do. Unless you're like, wealthy and you have a team or something, you can't do podcast, stand-up, sketches, front-facing video, write for late night, write a TV show. Like, you can't do all that without like a team behind you, So you got to pick some. So I love podcasts and stand-up. Those are my favorite.
When did you start your podcast?
During the pandemic, probably like 1.5 years ago. We only have like 20 episodes, but we're being more consistent now. We're trying to get pretty serious about it.
And you lived, like you stayed in New York during the pandemic, or did you go back home?
I went back home to Maryland for over the summer to do some nice, kayaking and stuff, and good
scenic.
Yeah, just be with the waterfowl. But no, I stayed here for the majority of it. COVID was kind of helpful because it forced me to get out of the stand-up grind. You know what I mean? It's such a, you got to go out. It's not just writing jokes and performing. It's also like hanging out and emailing people. And it's like, you could just do that. Even if you have no podcast, you could just devote all your time to trying to get better at stand-up, get more booked at stand-up. So I don't know how you felt about this with improv. You maybe did, of like, oh, it was kind of nice that it forced me out of my comfort zone to do something else.
Well, looking back on it for sure.
Looking back.
Initially, I was freaked out because at the time I was
you were on the cusp.
I was still working in my, dude, I was about to try out for the Lloyd team at UCB. Yeah, like literally a week out.
Yeah.
We were supposed to have our class performance.
That's where my ex was too,
15,
basically, yeah.
And then I was supposed to try out for the Lloyd team, but then it never happened. And right around that specific time, also, I was gonna like quit my dad's company, do improv, stand up, the podcast full time.
Yeah.
And it just tacked on another year just to like working corporate life. So, I mean, not that that was ever going to be a good time to start doing the podcast, the vlogs, the comedy shows and stuff, like right when the pandemic hit, but it was kind of like I was getting ready. And then I ended up staying in my dad's company for another year.
Real estate?
After that, yeah, working in property management, making sure things were running smoothly. But I mean, it was just a crazy time. And like looking back on it now, yeah, like obviously everything happened for the greater good. But I imagine so many people during that COVID time either were having the worst time of their lives or like they just had an epiphany and they're like, okay, I need to do more things this way.
Yeah. What a funny thing Lloyd Night was. It was like a feeder team, right? Isn't it kind of like the first like notch on the bits, like you being a yellow belt at UCB, right?
Sure, exactly.
Isn't that what it is?
I don't know. How does the karate go? White, red,
yello.
Okay, white, yellow, then red.
It's your first rung. It's your first achievement in improv. Lloyd Night. That's what it was.
What's after yellow?
Oh, we're still going on the belts. I feel like it's like orange
and maybe red and black.
Red and blue, brown.
Yeah, there's a lot of fucking belts.
A lot of belts. And then there's like dragon.
Yeah, the dragon
And then
belt.
you get into like rat, monkey.
The dragon belt.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I thought things were going well. I was like, okay, I'm getting really good at improv. And then boom, all of a sudden they shut down.
Yeah.
So I was like, what the hell do I do? Came back, reached out to the theater that's pretty close by and Asylum NYC.
Great theater.
I was like, I know a lot of comics. I could book a comedy show. And then started doing that show once every 2 weeks, then hopped over to the stand. So ever since then, I've been meeting a lot more stand-up comics and have comics like yourself on the couch sitting here shooting the freaking shit, man.
Riffing on the
It's
couch.
been fun. Yeah, dude, riffing on the couch, talking about whatever, dude. I mean, you today asked if we were going to go over any specific topics. Are there any topics that you'd like to talk about, Mr. Russell?
I wrote some stuff down.
Yeah? All right, cool.
Well, we got a hurricane.
That is a pretty intense case, by the way. Is that an OtterBox?
You think so? I don't. I
think my dad has one of those, but it's black.
Your dad has a holster that it latches into.
Yeah, exactly. And next to the
no,
beeper.
I mean, I'll take it off. It's very easy to take off and put back on. It's very light. And it's very good.
Yeah.
Highly recommend. I would love them as like a sponsor. Urban Armor Gear. Check it out.
Armor Gear. There you go. We're popping it up right here. No shot. We'll pop it up once you guys pay the boys.
That's right. We bleep it out unless you pay.
Yeah, dude. Your topics.
Well, my grandma, I was texting my grandma. She's in Florida. You got any family in Florida?
Okay. My grandma goes down there for the winter. So she'll be down there in like a month. What part of Florida
So
is your grandma?
I don't even know. She's like 17 miles away from the coastline. So she was okay.
On the West Coast or?
Near Orlando.
So yes, West Coast.
Yes, Hurricane Ian swept through. Have you seen some of the videos?
Yes, it's crazy. Dude, insane. Like 18 feet of water in some parts of Florida, like Naples and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Apparently, they're saying $2 trillion of damage was caused the other day. Like,
wow.
Well, I mean, between the cars, the houses, and all that shit. But then again, like if you live in Florida and you live in like a nice condo high rise, like you're good, right? Is that
also,
what we're
you
seeing?
live in Florida, you kind of know the deal.
You know the deal.
But
that's why you pay the insurance premiums, I would say. But what happened with your grandma? Did she send you
Everything's okay
like,
with my grandma. She sent me a little bit of stuff, just kind of updates and stuff. I think it's funny that it was Hurricane Ian, though. It's usually like a woman's name. Now they're going to like fuckboys.
Right.
Hurricane Ian came in last night.
Dude, they're like,
1 a.m.
hurricanes.
He broke my door.
Yeah.
He said I'm the only one for him, and I'm a dumb slut.
Does she have power?
She has power. Cuba has no power. The country of Cuba totally blacked out. Not going to remember a lick of this hurricane.
Yeah, man, imagine. That's terrible.
I had a tree fall on my house when I was a kid because I grew up on the water. Very fortunate to have grown up on the water.
Yeah.
And a weeping willow, very shallow rooted tree, collided with my house.
Was it on your property initially, or it like flew out of the branch?
No. It was. It wasn't
Flew
like
out
a
of the
cow.
ground.
Yeah, like a spear flying at me. No, it landed on like my parents' bedroom.
Oh man, and they weren't there. at that time.
They were there, but it landed on like their bathroom. You know what I mean? So it did like collapse onto the bathroom.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I had nightmares of like monsters ripping off the roof of the house.
How old were you at that time?
It's probably like 10, 9, you know?
What year did you move to New York City? Like right after you graduated?
I graduated 2016, moved here 2019. So I stayed in Boston 3 years.
And you were just working the clubs in Boston for the most part?
A little bit. I've always kind of like found a show to produce and just give myself stage time that way. I'm only now really starting to do more like, you know, featuring and hosting at clubs and stuff. I did have something that I wanted to
let's hear it. Hot take?
A hot take? I do have a hot take. Maybe we'll save that for the latter half of the pod. Okay, so this is one thing about living in Flatbush.
A lot of Jews.
Huh?
A lot of Jews. I'm Jewish. I can say that.
A lot of Jews.
It's great.
A lot of Caribbeans. Crown Heights is super Jewish.
Yeah.
The further east you, well, I don't know. It's a real interesting mix of like, you know, Rasta pasta and dreidels and shremels and stuff. But there's all this graffiti on the sidewalk. Consistent. Nancy is a bitch. And I don't know who it refers to. You've seen it? I have picture and there's some people clapping back, spraying not. Nancy is not a bitch. Oh. So there's pro Nancy, there's anti Nancy.
Like have you seen on the street
Ugly Child?
What is it? Dreams are I don't fucking know. It just says like keep dreaming until it's your reality. Dream until it's your reality.
Encouraging.
You've seen that? Definitely encouraging.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't tell if this was like someone in the neighborhood named Nancy
like
made the wrong enemy.
It's like one of those rapper tags in the building, like, oh Lord, Jesse made another. It's like Nancy is a bitch.
Nancy is a bitch. Got a hot single out. That's the full artist name. Nancy is a bitch coming at you.
Yeah.
Another Nancy and a bitch is a bitch.
The remix is Nancy is not a bitch. Part 2.
Yep.
Trash.
So I don't know if it's referring to a woman named Nancy.
That's weird.
Or Nancy Pelosi.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Because I typed in Nancy as a bitch to try to understand if this was something, you know, on 4chan that I'm missing.
Going on like all over the country.
And I think it's about Nancy Pelosi because you type in Nancy as a bitch, Google image, everything's Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, it'll pop up. She used to be like, I feel like a well-liked woman until it came out that her husband is making mills just with insider trading.
Is that it?
I think so.
I don't know if she was ever well-liked.
Well, we used to see her on screen way more, and people would support her. I'd say so. Like on the TV, she'd be, I don't know, making announcements or whatever the shit she does as a secretary of state.
It is unfortunate. I don't even know what she does. All I know is that my grandpa hates her.
Did I just make that?
No, dude. I think that's it. I think she's Speaker of the House. I think she holds the. I think she holds the talking stick.
Yeah, but I feel like I haven't seen her as much.
She throws it to congressmen when it's their turn.
Yeah, exactly. The world's fucked.
She's older than Biden, though.
No.
She's an old hag. Yeah. They're all so old.
Yeah.
They're so old.
We need some younger people in the White House. That goes without saying. But at the same time, if they're going to be puppets, whatever, keep putting older people in there. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I guess.
I wouldn't mind Logan Paul like making a run for it if he acts accordingly.
Logan Paul could do it.
Yeah, I think so too.
He's already transitioned to one career.
Yeah,
and he's kind of successful.
Have you seen that?
Yes.
He's doing crazy.
He's doing good.
He was talking about how he's going to be like wrestling for the title.
He should be the treasurer.
Yeah.
He should be Secretary of Defense.
Of World Wrestling.
He should be Secretary of Defense and say, Poon, you better step off Ukraine unless you want to get these hands.
Yeah, man. Wrestling made a comeback, I think, within like the last 5 years. I used to be so into it when I was like 12 and 13 years old.
So into it.
You ever?
No, I never got into the wrestling.
Dude, I used to, and speaking, we were talking about basements earlier. I used to turn on like SmackDown. Yeah, briefly you said your parents had a sign in the basement. I was talking about like me and you banging in the basement.
I don't think you needed. I don't think you needed to thread that needle, but I'm glad you did.
I thread it, bro.
Yeah.
So in my basement, we used to watch like me and my buddy would watch Thursday night SmackDown, Monday Night Raw, and anytime we heard my parents coming down the steps, we would just change it to something.
Oh, okay.
Like
they didn't like the violence?
Or something like that. Yeah, I don't think so. Just because I was younger and I was also practicing those wrestling moves, like on my sisters and stuff too. Like I would do the rock bottom and the people's elbow, not like the weird ones, like the pedigree, but I would definitely practice wrestling moves
ruining
on
their
my
growth
sisters.
Plates.
Yeah,
like they're
I think they appreciate it now just because of the story.
Right.
So, what are you looking forward to the most towards the end of this year, wrapping up in terms of comedy? Besides your shows, maybe you featuring?
Well, I did do this thing. I did a TV show that's going to come out. It's a reality TV show.
Love it. On what?
It's I don't know if I can say the network, but I can say that it has to do with cooking.
Okay, you're a good cook?
No, that was the purpose of the show. It was like a cooking boot camp, and so it was like whoever is the best cook at the end of this wins some money. And so I was on that for a few episodes. So we shot that in like July, and it's going to come out I think in January or something. So I've really been trying to push myself to like put out a bunch of content so that hopefully if people see the show, they come. So I'm hoping that that's going to be something. I'm also just looking forward to doing more shows. I'm like headlining a show in Philly in a few weeks. So yeah, I mean, I quit my job a few months ago. So
that's great, dude.
I'm FTC, congrats, baby, full-time comic.
Let's go. That's great. And also I feel like in general, when people are trying to tune in or like finding you on one platform, they always want to see you on other platforms. So yeah, it sounds like you're doing the right thing.
I hope
to make
so.
as much content as possible.
I hope so. I mean, we live and die by the pop. The clip's popping off. You know, I had a clip pop today. I backed off the edge of the building. I said, I can wait one more day.
It's funny how that really, dude, affects my mental health too sometimes, bro. Like when I get a multi-million watched clip, I'm fired up for at least a few hours. It gives you like a lot of gratification.
At least a few hours.
You know what I mean?
I know. It's only a few hours.
Until the next clip
that
you're working on.
And you think you're a piece of shit.
It's interesting, man. I mean, these things hit your dopamine levels hard. Like I mean, I don't know how much time you're spending on the phone, but like everyone's phone time, I'd say for the most part now, you can
six hours.
Dude, you can generally say everybody's over 5.5 hours.
Everybody's over.
You got to set those limits. Are you sure you want to be on this app for another minute? I'm like, yeah, sure. Click 1 minute, then add another 15. So it's people in these days. That's how what.
You just snoozing your Instagram. You're like, well, maybe just a little more Instagram.
Just
10 more minutes, mom.
Just another minute of snoozing.
I'm becoming a little dopamine slut, dude. I'm weeding all the time. I'm jerking off. I'm on Instagram. It's like I'm a little demon boy running around my apartment.
Dude, it's not your fault, man.
Demon.
It's the time we live in. 20 years ago, you used to break up with a girl and you never see her again. Yeah. Now you break up with a girl and you see all of her pictures. You see she's having fun, whatever. There's just a distraction. As to 25 years ago, you break up with someone and you might not even ever see him again.
Well, I mean, there's so many avenues. Even if you block them on all social media, you make a fake account. It's an Indian guy. You give him a fake picture. I'm just telling you what I hypothetically would do. You make a fake account, you can stalk them through that one. You know what I mean? It's so easy for an ex to do that. Let me tell you what I love about my current relationship, this non-monogamous, Brooklyn thing.
You guys decided this, by the way?
We did.
Right in the beginning?
Right in the beginning. We met on Field. Have you heard of Field?
We were talking about this briefly. No,
Tobin
was talking about it.
Tobin, yeah. I talked to Tobin about Field. Oh, we were all there. Yeah, it was that night. Yeah, you list so it's a dating app, but it's very like kink forward and kind of sex positive. So you list, it's like a normal dating app. You list your interests, right? And then you also list your desires. So it'll be like, it's funny because they're like kind of mixed together. So it'll be like biking, sunshine, going to the beach, BDSM, impact play.
Oh, so it's like
threesome.
All interests. Whoa.
It's interest. There's interest and then separately desires. But it's funny because it's like reading, kite flying, hitting. Like choking, pee, or whatever.
And so you've been successful on this app then? I
mean, I met this girl that I really connect with, and I like the open relationship because you can stay loyal to the person. It's not going to work for everybody, but I can go have some fun little thing with somebody and then go back to this person that I love, and it doesn't affect that. You know what I mean? You look at me.
Well, I'm interested, bro.
Suspect.
This is like what the fuck century is it? 21st, 22nd? This is like 21st century dating.
It is.
Sounds like
it is. This will probably be most of 22nd century dating.
Well, have you experienced an openly non-monogamous relationship before this, or have you wanted to try it?
No, this is my first one, and I have wanted to try it. I'm not a jealous guy. But this has, even as not a jealous guy, I still feel sometimes jealousy creeping up. And then I have to, but it's something you actively manage, like anxiety or anger, or if you have any issue with any emotion, it's just an emotion.
Well, getting jealous though, have you guys spoken about other flings that you've had over the past 6 months? Like a week long.
Yeah, I mean, and she has people who are a bit more consistent than some of the people that I see or whatever. But it's nice though, because like it takes a village sometimes to have a girrfriend. It's helpful because they can't use you as everything. You can't be their full support system for everything, right? And so normally, if you're in a monogamous relationship, you might want a girlfriend who has a good friend group or a good family they can lean on. But in this situation, she has that, and she also has these like, lover type people that she can lean on. So one good example, like I'm a busy guy, I don't have a ton of time. She got upset watching this documentary about like teachers grooming their students, and like she knew one of the students, so she was like pretty affected by this.
She knew one of the students,
and she called over. No, it was like a friend. And instead of calling me to come console her, she called over Henry. And I'm like, go fucking help her out, Henry. I got shit to do.
Just some,
do you know what I mean?
Just some random guy.
Not
Henry.
a random guy, a guy that she sees. But it's like now Henry can go give her the time that she needs and the support, and I can be free to.
That doesn't make you jealous?
No.
Well, do you think it's just because
you know what I mean?
It's a specific part of that relationship, so you don't feel bad about it? Because like, there are other parts of the relationship. No, and it's also like I'm in a show. I'm not coming over to help, to be the shoulder to cry on after that you watch the sad documentary. Get Henry for that shit. Definitely a new world way of thinking.
Yeah, it seems like it's not fully computing with you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just because like I, for the most part, am not super jealous, but I get jealous. And I don't know if I'd be able to deal with like somebody who I'm gaining feelings for each month over time. Then they still go back to a person who they have had feelings with before.
But we talk about it, and our feelings are like we always come back together, and have that nice
over the past
rejuvenation
6 months.
time. Yeah, we come back together after, she saw that guy last night, and we're going to hang out tonight, and we're going to have a nice great time. And you can tell when you're with somebody else that it's different. Like it's fun, but the intimacy might not be there. You know what I mean? That it is when you guys are together. Like if you hook up with a fling, it's like fun and it's sexy, and it might be like a friend hangout vibes, but I'm not like holding that fling like I love them.
Well, do you think it'll ever get to a point where it is like that?
Maybe, and then we'll cross that bridge. But it's nice. It's kind of like outsourcing the shitty parts of a relationship with these other people.
That's kind of what it sounds like. But then, I mean, at the time where, let's say month 13 or 14, you're like, all right, I want to take this to the next level. Let's be monogamous. And then she doesn't want to. I mean, does that mess with, it hasn't happened and hopefully won't happen. But do you think that being an average guy who wants to be chosen always, I'm not saying you're an average guy, I'm saying the average guy always wants to be chosen.
A generic man.
Wants attention.
Yeah.
I mean, how does
being
that
a mediocre schlub, how do you feel about not being chosen?
You know what I mean?
I mean, that's true. I had a conversation with my mom about it, and she's so funny. She's always trying to like understand. She's very investigative and really tries to think about things and understand them in her way of thinking. And so she's trying to understand this whole poly, E&M, whatever. And she's like, you're dating, right? You see other people, you see each other, you're dating. And I go, yeah, we're dating.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Not wrong.
If you don't put a title on it.
But then, she's like, what's with all these labels? She's like halfway to being a stand-up. She has like she has the emotions and the premises.
So my son, he's banging all these chicks.
And I don't understand. Well, we got all these labels. I worked union 10 years. We never had a label for that. But she... I was in a conversation with her, and we were talking about, she's like, you going to do this forever? And I'm like, well, we might go monogamish.
Oh, wow.
Do you know what that is?
I mean, kind of monogamous.
And here's the thing.
I mean, bro, you're pulling out all the freaking words, dude.
I'm reading The Ethical Slut. It's my homework. It's true. That's a real book. My lady's like, you got to read this if we're going to do this, because you got to understand.
Where's she from?
She's from Florida. Yeah. But I was explaining monogamish to my mom, and then I had to stop midway through because basically you can't explain monogamish without introducing the concept of group sex. So I was like, yeah, we're dating. We're dating.
The concept of group sex
is because monogamish is when you're basically monogamous, but you can have the occasional fling, one-nighter, whatever, or group stuff.
Is that like swinging? No.
Like a third, you bring a third in, or like another couple.
Has that happened yet?
Yeah, I had a really bad threesome with her recently.
Oh wow,
very bad.
It was 2 chicks and 1 guy.
2 ladies and me.
Why was it? How could it have been bad?
I was I stayed soft the whole time.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
it was because you were smoking too much weed.
No, drinking? No. I mean, maybe, but I was nervous. This is the real thing. I'm doing this as a bit, so I won't do the bit. But this is the real truth. I never felt like the object of desire. Because we're together, me and the lady, but then this other lady, she's seen a few times. They don't get to see each other a ton. So the other lady comes in, she wants to see my lady. You know what I mean? This is like their 3rd date or whatever. So she attacks her, like starts voraciously digging into her. And I'm off to the side like, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it needs to be first time for everyone. or I mean, not you and your woman, but like the third person who's coming in, it needs to be a first time for her and you. And
that's
then
a good, that could have worked. I think we just needed to have a threesome. We needed to have a discussion.
You three?
We three, we were at the bar hanging out, but we never talked about how it was going to go down sexually, which I think you need to do in a relationship when you're bringing in a third entity who's like, you know what I mean?
How did this in the bar? Like, who decided this was going to happen?
In the bar, I mean, my lady, to give her credit, she was like, I think it'd be really hot if you two kissed. And then so we made out like in front of my girlfriend, and she, yeah,
Yo, dude.
I mean, that's the fun part about
I'm like,
it.
this happens outside of the porn sphere?
Yeah, outside of the porn. Yeah, well, she did get stuck in a dryer, and I had to get her out with my penis.
Oh, nice. She brought the pizza.
Yeah, she
cut
brought
the hole in the middle.
Yep, put her labia through the hole. No, I mean, it was hot, but then we got back to the bedroom, and this other woman was just like really focused on my lady,
And you can feel that.
and it felt like I wasn't desired. You know,
How did it work though? Like when they were going at it, what'd you do? You kind of like rubbing their back.
That's the thing, dude. I was like rubbing her back. I was like holding my girlfriend's hand. It felt like I was like delivering a baby. I was like, you can do it.
Dude, you're on
on
the forefront of future relationships. It sounds like we go back, 250 years where men were polygamists. A lot of them. You think about the kings.
History
you think about
repeats.
people. Yeah, dude. And then hopefully crypto keeps fucking going up. Jeez, I'm losing all my cash, dude.
Yeah, man. I got some stocks that are not doing good.
Yeah, dude. Well, I mean, just crypto right now is a nightmare. But
have you looked at the general stock market? Because that's not doing good either.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the old money before we talk about your new fake
literally.
bits,
Our parents
your bits and
buying a
bots.
house for like what? They were able to buy it working minimum wage. It's crazy.
Yeah, you're like,
Inflation,
cat coin's down, dude.
Yeah.
I'm fucked.
Dude, literally, I have Shiba.
I'm like, the S&P 500 is down.
Coin, yeah.
Yeah.
You have any Shiba?
I don't have any Shiba.
You familiar with Shiba?
Dogecoin?
No. Shiba coin.
Shiba coin.
Yes, dude. It was like the cousin of Dogecoin.
Yeah.
One day it went up, like people had, it was like, it's 0.0000001. One day it went up to like 0.0001 and like,
Oh, so it increased by 1,000% or something?
Way more than that. So like 150 people made like $250 million in one day. So I heard this. I was like, oh, dope. Could happen again. Went in and like now I'm just even. I've just been playing Stevens, $1,500 for a while. But
I was up before this whole stock thing went down, just with normal stocks. I was up like 50%.
yeah, I was doing all right too. But like, we'll see what happens in the future, right, man?
Of course, when I quit my job, I love that your handle is Ted Jones World.
You love that, bro?
I love it because it's not comedy. It's a whole fucking world, man. There's lore. You should make a book. You should make like a Silmarillion for the Ted Jones World.
I'm on it, bro. I'm on it. But I think
Enter the world,
dude. It started as a Finstagram, Ted Jones World. Like I had my Instagram, and then
it has Finstagram energy.
I would just post dumb stuff on Ted Jones World. Yeah, but now I got comfortable doing it.
I see,
and that took years, for me to put out because I was a property manager, bro. I had an image to keep and portray on a regular Instagram. Hard posts and stuff like that, and then I would have the Ted Jones World.
What are hard posts?
Like on the grid. You never heard it like that?
Hard
where
posts?
I'm just erect, dude, on the post. Yeah, on the grid. So I was
flexing every muscle I can.
Dude, I just became comfortable doing it, and I was like, all right, man, who am I hiding from? Who the shit am I hiding from?
You hiding from you.
I was.
That's sometimes when I notice I'm smoking too much weed is when I don't fully love and respect myself. That's what I think it is.
Do you work out a lot?
I like working out, and I don't work out enough. I used to work out a lot.
That'll help you with confidence
really
too.
helps. I wonder if because whenever I work out, I feel like I'm gonna be the best comedian ever. You know what I mean? It gives you, it makes you feel confident, not only bodily, but also like careerally, like aspirationally.
Put your chin up, man.
But I wonder, so you feel that?
Yeah, I mean, I playing tennis for so many years and then stopping and then kind of finding my way, drinking so much from the age of like 23 to 27. I was like, all right, I got to get back in this mindset where I'm ready to go every single day and focus on what I want to focus on. So I just started going to the gym a bunch. And then once COVID hit, bro, I was going to the gym at 4:40 in the morning, like doing nothing the rest of the day for the most part. And this happened for like 2.5 years. I really got back in my groove. Now I just go for the most part when I wake up. But like working out 5-6 times a week just helps my mental clarity, I find, throughout the day. Even though sometimes I don't want to go, for the most part, like
it helps so much. But I wonder, because I'm doing push-ups and I'm like, I'm gonna be the best fucking comedian. Do like accountants feel that way about their jobs when they work out? You know, because like our job is a very like
they sit
showy.
Too much, bro.
They what?
They sit too much.
They sit too much.
Seriously, I think that's something that we're gonna see. Just people have serious health issues from sitting, going like this. I know. That's how many 12 hours a day, dude.
That's how I look a lot of the day.
Yeah, I don't have a back to my seat, so I'm going like this. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like, we don't sit a lot, and also
you sit in those things all day.
Yeah, dude.
That's
on
brutal.
the other side of the thing.
Wow.
I sit, but also I think that sitting, man, we never, as a society, we never like over maybe the last 50 years, we never really were sitting as much as we are sitting now. Yeah. You know, hunched over on the screen, and also being from New York, man, we walk and take the subway quite a bit, especially to shows. Go to Brooklyn, Queens. Yeah. We're always on the.
I ride my bike.
Beautiful. A lot. Oh, nice! Your bike rider.
So that helps with the mental for sure.
Do you ride your bike here?
No.
Oh, okay. That would have been a trip and a half, right?
I could do it. Like I would have done it, but I like to have the train time to think. You know, especially if we're doing a pod, I'm thinking about like what we could talk about and stuff. And sometimes the biking helps with that too. But I value the train time.
Yeah, Max Mandikoff, you know him, huge bike guy. He's really flying all over the city. Yeah, he's talking about. He's just telling me how he goes 30 miles an hour, no helmet. You wear a helmet?
I go half and half, but usually I wear a helmet.
Yeah, you should.
Usually I wear a helmet. Because it's not sound. You can just do this. I think that's okay.
Yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see in post-production. Zach Russell, that's how we're doing it. Zach, thanks so much for coming on the pod.
I'm running for the Prime Minister of Canada.
Bro, before we get out of here, we're popping up your Instagram here, and where can we find you?
You can find me at Zach Russell Comedy. You can find the podcast at overshadowed_podcast. Please check it out. It's about the siblings and spouses of famous people. We recently covered Mozart's sister. We covered Einstein's wife that he cheated on and ended up marrying his first cousin. We covered Al Capone's two brothers. One of them was a prohibitionist cowboy who worked on the other side of the law. So Al Capone was this millionaire bootlegger, and his brother became a cowboy, like busting bootleggers.
So the theme is just interesting history.
The theme is the theme is like overshadowed characters in history that you may have never heard of.
Would Tesla make an episode? You think Nikola Tesla?
Interesting. Yeah, maybe.
You know, Thomas Edison over Nikola Tesla?
Yes, but normally we cover the siblings and spouses, so it's people even further removed than Tesla. People know Tesla, but they might not know his weird autistic brother or whatever.
Who created cheese?
Who created cheese?
Vegan,
right?
Cheese,
vegan cheese,
rather
vegan cheese. Do you have any vegan sponsors for Ted Jones World?
Nah, we had hot sauce for a moment, but I'm the vegan sponsor, Zach.
That's right.
That's what we'll keep it at. Zach Russell, thank you so much to come on the freaking podcast, and we appreciate it. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Peace.